But now we're starting with The Apprentice, because tonight the 13 remaining candidates will once again battle it out to prove they've got what it takes to be Lord Sugar's business partner.
Yeah, now last week their haggling skills were put to the test, and tonight they'll be tasked with launching their own Formula E team. Easy, right? But when it comes to making the promotional video, some get a little bit too carried away. We've actually got an exclusive look.
Going to be impactful, but also catchy. You want to go next. You want to keep the end user interested. I don't want to keep this serious. This has to be high energy. So Sam, you'll go eco, energy. Both of you say exhilaration. That's the Thirsty Shot. That's when we start spitting the facts. Let's have that air element in it, but let's keep it good vibes. Let's keep it like high energy.
Gosh, I've got a headache after listening to
High energy.
Tim Campbell is here now. Hi, Tim. So as we said, that's a clip from tonight's episode. How hard is it to keep a straight face?
It's sometimes really difficult because, like the viewers who are watching the show, you're really engaging with the task in a live scenario. And we're supposed to be innocent, fading into the background, just collecting information to feed back to Lord Sugar. But you actually care about what they're doing. And when sometimes you can see the impending car crash coming, I'd be a rubbish poker player, put it that way, because it's evident how I feel when you see them doing those mistakes.
Well, it's such a brilliant show. So many people are going to be tuning in tonight. What can they expect? What's the big task?
Well, the big task this week is that the team have to advertise and market a Formula E car.
Tricky.
It's very difficult, but it shows a testament to the Apprentice programme because it's keeping up with modern trends, it's talking about things around the environment, and actually it's keeping it fresh and engaging for the team. But sometimes they might struggle with the execution element.
Yeah. Now, is it true that there's a big deal on the table tonight?
There's an amazing deal. For one of the candidates, they secure one of the biggest investments that we've ever seen on the show. So everyone has to change tune tonight at 9 o'clock because you're going to see one of the best deals that we've seen in a long time.
Wow.
A bit of history in The Apprentice. And speaking of a great deal, Tim, you know all about it. Now, I have to say, you know, you won that first ever series of The Apprentice, right? You got to the finish line.
I'm getting a bit nervous. You're hyping me up a little bit too much here.
I'm hyping you up because I want to remind you of a moment that will go down in history as well. The challenge was to get discount off a bottle of wine. Now, the shopkeeper wouldn't budge at £44.95.
And fair enough.
£44.95. But
it's
Tim,
a pricey bottle of wine.
Tim, you got a fantastic deal, didn't you? I mean, let's just remind ourselves of Tim's discount.
I'm left with a bit of a dilemma, as you could say, from my side. If I was to offer, say, a couple of pence less than the actual retail price that you've got up there, we're talking not massive money, we're talking pence as opposed to...
So you mean 44.90 rather than 44.95?
Even if you can go to 44 dead...
I'll do you 44.90 to show willing.
44.50. I'm not going to insult you by going in further negotiations. Could we purchase this bottle for 44.90, please?
Certainly.
Thank you very much.
44.90. 44.90. That's a deal. That's a deal. Well done.
At least I was polite.
You were lovely. You were lovely.
The thing is, I mean, we all laugh, right? But Tim went on to win the series. So now then, how does your haggling skills, how do they differ these days, though?
They're much better. What you didn't see is that we had to also negotiate for a diamond. Interestingly, a brilliant shop in Hatton Gardens, I negotiated on a promise that if I ever get a discount, I'd go back and buy my engagement ring. And I stayed true to that. And my wife, I've been together now with 26 years, off the back of that promise.
Oh,
no way.
Fact.
Well, what I will say is it's very easy as a viewer to watch the show and go, oh, I could do that, I could get in there. But the last time I saw you was actually on the other side of the boardroom. I got an exclusive interview ahead of the brand new series. And let me tell you, Lord Sugar can be pretty scary, as I know. What's the biggest mistake that someone can do when they're going for a job? What's
well,
that?
you've just broken the first rule. I mean, you could have come in with a suit.
Yeah, I mean, I should have ironed as well.
This is not the golf club, you know.
Yeah. The lack of suit was a bit of a schoolboy error, wasn't it? You were going to the boardroom.
I was terrified. It's really scary.
Alex, he needed you. He needed you.
Exactly. I melt without you. Al, that's the problem.
Yeah, see?
Do you think, Tim? Do you think your personal experience, you know, having done the show and then being there, do you think that really helps, kind of empathise, I guess, with the candidates?
It's great to understand what they're going through because having been on the other side of the table, you can definitely see the strain and tension sometimes. But it's also harder because now on this side, I've just got to fade into the background and kind of, as we talked about, watch them sometimes make mistakes, but also sometimes do amazing things like the deals that you'll see tonight and next week.
But as you said, you know, you can influence Lord Sugar. So do they try and butter you up a bit?
Influencing Lord Sugar, as you saw from the boardroom, is quite difficult, right? He's got his own mind. He knows exactly what he's doing. But the candidates try to get on your good side, thinking that you've got that sway. But all we're doing is feeding back what they do. So they should focus much more on the task and getting on amongst each other rather than trying to please us.
Fair enough. Now, in the news this week, it says there's a 15% drop in job vacancies, which, you know, that's very significant, isn't it?
It really is.
How do people stand out then in this tough climate? What tips would you have, Tim?
There's an awful lot of change in the market, particularly amongst technology companies who are making changes in terms of how they work. I think for individuals in the market who may be worried about the future, just focus on a skill and think about how that skill can solve a problem. Because no matter what you do, if you have a skill that someone sees as valuable, you're going to find a way to generate some income either for yourself or somebody else. So it's not to panic, but take action and make sure you invest in skills.
Fantastic.
That's very good advice.
Very good advice. Thanks so much, Tim. The Apprentice is on tonight at 9 p.m. It was going to be on at 9:05, but Tim negotiated it down. That's going to be on BBC One and iPlayer.
Ah, very good. Still to come tonight, we'll be celebrating one of the most memorable moments in sport in history with Torvill and Dean as they prepare for their farewell tour.
Yeah, plus Saturday Kitchen host Matt Tebbert will be here to share his memories of his good friend Dave Myers. Right, let's say hello to our next guests tonight, who are legends on the ice. It's Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean. 40 years ago.
Say it quickly, will you?
I'm sorry, but it's amazing like how long, you know, that moment has lasted. 40 years ago, gold at the Winter Olympics. I mean, let's have a look at it. It's Sarajevo. We've got a little clip. What was going through your mind here?
You're just in the zone at that point.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a bubble around us.
Yeah.
And we couldn't see or hear any of the audience. And it was just the two of us. I mean, we've practiced this for a whole year to this point, and this 4 minutes mean everything moving forward. So that 4 minutes was very focused. Well, I say focus, we were in the zone, but we were actually living it and performing it. And it's only at the end when the music stopped that you sort of wake up and go back into reality.
Audience, yeah.
Do you know the most amazing thing? You two look exactly the same.
Well, thank you.
Just sitting here thinking, how is this possible?
Take those glasses off.
And 24 million people watched that performance. And Tim, you can remember as a little boy seeing it, can't you?
I was 7, and the pride that you gave us all, having done that, and everyone jumped on an ice rink as soon as they could, but it was the pride of what you did. And
thank
to
you.
keep that going so long, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
We've had so many wonderful messages as well. Thank you. It's not just Tim who remembers watching. We got this from Margaret. Margaret says, I remember watching the Bolero live and it brought a lump to my throat, so moving. Being from Nottingham made it all the more special. There you go. You got the East Mids Massive as well.
Sarah says, I remember watching the Olympic final in '84 and was so happy when they won. I followed them ever since.
It's been 40 years. Next year, it's 50 years we've been skating together.
That's incredible.
Half a century.
Well, yeah. So you're about to do your last tour.
Yep.
Now, this is going to be an emotional scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it will be emotional, but we want to treat it as a celebration. You know, we've been so lucky to have such a long career and still be able to do it in some way. What do you call it? Age-appropriate skating.
Age-appropriate skating.
So we want people to come along and watch us celebrate and join in it.
How are you going to do that though? Because I mean, celebrating your career there's so many amazing moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, how would you go about doing it?
Well, we have lots of routines that people remember. You know, we've done a Mac and Mabel and a Barnum and Bolero, Espresso. No, can't say it now. The Paso Doble.
Yes.
The Paso Doble.
And so all of those moments, obviously, they'll resurface.
Yeah.
But then we've got a cast of fantastic skaters, so it'll be a great evening's entertainment on the ice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I think the last show will be the lump in the throat.
Oh, that last performance.
I think for everybody, whichever skaters are with us at the time, they'll be sort of emotional too, because it's always like that at the end of a tour, but this will be a special one for us.
This will be the end tour.
Well,
it's an Elton John moment.
Speaking of the end, I got a little bit worried when I heard about this. There's some speculation, right? It's the Dancing on Ice semi-finals this weekend.
Yeah.
Please tell me that you are returning for the next series, because a lot of people are saying, will they, won't they?
They
absolutely,
will. No,
yes.
the names are engraved on the chairs now. So.
Good. OK, we can rest easy.
Away.
Yeah, we can rest easy.
Yeah, it's exciting this weekend because it is the semi-final and they have to skate by themselves as well.
Wow.
So that'll be really telling.
I always think it looks so terrifying. Of all the shows like this, it's the one that's most scary, I think.
Yeah, first of all, they've got to learn to skate. They've got to be able to stand up before they can start to dance.
Yeah.
And then when they go out there, I mean, they're on a knife edge, and you can see some are tense and some can relax into it. But it's great live TV.
You're definitely not going to do it now, are you?
I can see you doing a headbanger. I'll hold you, spin you around. You can get tickets for Tour 17, our last dance now, and you can watch the Dancing on Ice semi-final this Sunday, 6:30 on ITV. Thank you both. It's really nice to see you.
Really wonderful. Now, earlier on today, we heard the sad news that Dave Myers had died at the age of 66. And in just a moment, we'll be joined by someone who knew him well, Chef Matt Tebbutt.
Now, Dave, of course, was best known for being one half of the Hairy Bikers, a duo who not only shared delicious recipes, but also a genuine friendship. Here they are, having a really poignant chat in a recent episode of the Hairy Bikers Go West.
One thing I would say is, one has to live for today. Don't live for tomorrow, because you don't know what's around the corner. It could be a double-decker bus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live for today and don't worry so much.
There's nothing bigger than the perspective that you have to have when you've gone through the processes that you've gone through, like chemo and radiotherapy and all that sort of stuff.
No, and I mean, it's a lot to get your head around. But talking about light at the end of the tunnel, being here today with you, it's not just light, mate. No. It's a bloody searchlight.
Oh, wow.
Well, we are joined now by Saturday Kitchen host Matt Tebbutt. Matt, hiya, how are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm sorry it's such sad circumstances to join you, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be talking about it.
Absolutely. So, when Dave first told us all that he had this cancer diagnosis, he sort of stepped away from work for a couple of years, and then the first time we saw him back on TV was on Saturday Kitchen, wasn't it? And what was incredible about Dave, wasn't it, was his constantly happy and positive attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I mean, it's quite a grueling start, and for him to come on with such sort of positivity, he looked like he'd been through the mill. Let's make no bones about it. He looked like he was up against it, but the positivity he sort of gave off and that kind of that lust for life, it was always infectious and always up for a laugh, always very generous with his time. I mean, he was the perfect guest, really was.
Yeah, Al mentioned it as well, this brilliant duo that he was a part of in terms of Hairy Bikers. I mean, Dave leaves behind a culinary legacy. I mean, what impact has he made in that world?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. It was a genuine friendship. A lot of sort of, people on TV, as we know, are thrown together and you have to come up with this chemistry, but those guys had it in spades and it was genuine, and that's what kind of translated so well. They did food that people wanted to eat, they made it relatable, they made it fun, and they loved what they did, and it was always infectious, and given the number of shows that they did throughout the years, the number of books that were sold, it's kind of testament to their legacy, I think.
Yeah.
What will your personal lasting memory of Dave be, Matt?
I think it was. I mean, like I said, he was very down to earth. He was a genuinely lovely guy, very funny, kind-hearted, very warm, engaging. I mean, there's not enough adjectives you can come out with. And also, which is a very rare thing, he was the same on screen as he was off screen. And as we know in this industry, that's not always the case. But Dave was very, very much like that. And to have him around, you know, it kind of made the world brighter. And a personality like that, it makes the days go quicker. And you couldn't say much more.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. Matt, thank you so much for joining us, mate. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
We've had so many messages, haven't we?
We have. And do you know what? We've even put a beautiful film of Dave revisiting the place he grew up on our website. It is a really lovely watch.
Oh, yeah, that is lovely. Now then, let's read some of these messages that are all testament, really, to what Matt said. Liz says, my husband and I met Dave and Si numerous times. Dave is always so lovely and happy to talk to us. He didn't have any airs and graces, just a genuine, lovely guy.
Yeah,
Lovely.
really fantastic. And this one from Martin, it said, I had the pleasure of meeting Dave. He sat in front of me, get this, at a Meatloaf gig.
Perfect.
And he was so lovely when I asked for a photo. It made the concert extra special for me. I love stuff like this because it's a different side to him that you start seeing when you hear about these moments.
Alison says, I met Dave and Si many times, including at the One Show in September 2019. I'm so sad that Dave has left us. There's a big hole in my heart. He was a gentleman and always had time for his fans. I will miss him a lot.
Yeah, that's really sad. And this from Alison as well, as another Alison who said, I loved watching Dave and Si's obvious chemistry, which was so genuine and infectious. They were fabulous to watch, so entertaining, inspirational. It's truly a sad day, and I send my love and condolences to his friends and family.
Yeah, did you meet him, Tim? Did you?
I did. So on another station, he was on Winnie's Partnership, and I think what Matt said was really telling. He just brought this infectious energy with him, which radiated around everybody where you are. But I suppose I would hope that the legacy is that we all make sure that we're going to get our checks, we're making sure we take care of our health, because I think he'd want us to also be happy and make sure that his passing is a positive thing going forward.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Well, thank you to all of our guests tonight, to Tim, Chris and Jane. Now, we wanted to end tonight by showing you a clip of Dave and Si, which perfectly captures the fun-loving nature in the kitchen.
Yeah, back in 2017, we set them a challenge on The One Show of recreating one of the best-loved comedy routines of all time, the Morecambe and Wise breakfast sketch. And it's fair to say they didn't disappoint.